There has been an incredible rule change, or two incredible rule changes that are signed, ready to go for the UFC, and the changes are coming in October, and I cannot wait for these. By this time, I'm sure you guys have seen the rules, but I wanted to touch on this today, and as always, I would love to know what you think about it down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's start off by taking a look at this post. MMA Orbit posted this for us to take a look at. This is the Association of Boxing Commissions and Combative Sports Mixed Martial Arts Committee, and they have two brand new rules for us to take a look at. Number one being the 12-6 elbow is no longer an illegal strike in MMA. This is something that we've wanted to see for a very long time. I thought it was always, not just me, most people thought it was really, really dumb, the fact that you can throw a 12-6 like this, but you can't, or you cannot do that, but you can throw a 1-7. That's totally okay. You know what I didn't know is, because I'm sure that at this point we've all heard the Joe Rogan explanation for it. I never knew if that was actually true. If the reason that this was actually a thing is because the commissions, or back in the day, people saw people like snapping boards with them or something like that. And I don't even know to what extent like that was staged or anything like that. So if anybody could clear that up in the comments, I would appreciate it. But that's such a dumb idea if that's the case. Now, what everybody is saying for this, and we're going to talk about the better rule in a little bit. Don't get me, I'm very excited for this. Everybody's been talking about give John Jones back his O. I don't care about John Jones. It was illegal then, and I always agreed that it should have been legal. But at the end of the day, John Jones cheated in his initial fight. So why are people campaigning? And why are people still on the John Jones bandwagon? I thought we were done with that, by the way. Who cares if he gets his win kept away from him, which should be exactly the case. But it's so dumb, dude. Like, and I never liked the fact that when fighters ended up in finishing sequences, they had to have like worries in the back of their mind where it's like, okay, I gotta make sure I'm watching where I throw this elbow. Can't do this, but I can do this. Like, the difference is literally this. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And you know what? Like, you could forever do more damage with elbows like how you're supposed to throw them, right? That's the best way you can do damage with elbows, not this. I don't even know if I'd really be comfortable throwing that because I've never tried that in sparring or anything. I don't know where you guys, I don't know about the rest of the world, but where I ended up training Muay Thai, we only did very, very light drills with elbows. We didn't spar hard with elbows. Of course, you could have the elbow pads, but we were very careful with elbows. So especially when like elbowing to the body, I've never even like thought of like in any clinch situation or if somebody was going for a takedown, I guess then you could start going like this. But even then, I'm trying to think about this in real time because I've always thought like when I have a takedown coming towards me, to sprawl, not really to start elbowing the back, but then again, you have to worry about the spine. Very, very interesting. I'm kind of thinking in real time over here. So, continuing on to the better rule, let's bring it back over to a rule that should have been changed a very long time ago as well. The definition of a grounded opponent has been changed. A fighter shall be considered grounded and may not be legally kneed or kicked in the head when any part of their body other than their hands or feet are in contact with the canvas. This is a rule that has needed to be changed for a very, very long time. One of the reasons why my favorite organization has won championship. It's more like a real fight. I don't get why that's such a big deal. You can knee people to the head. You can kick them to the head. You can do whatever you want. You can slice people open with elbows all you want. But God forbid you land a knee to a grounded opponent. Like, I don't understand that. Kind of the same deal with the 12-6. This is a change that was needed for a very long time. And I'm not coming from this as a guy who hates grappling. I love grappling. I love watching grappling. I love participating in grappling. I'm not coming this from an angle of like, I don't like grapplers because I know there's a big chunk of the MMA community that really dislikes grappling-based fighters. What I love about this, though, is that you can no longer have, and I'll just say it, man, the Aljamain Sterling fight style. You can no longer just go on your hands and knees just to save yourself from damage. If someone's taking you down, if you're up against a fence, you're risking getting kneed or kicked in the head. Oh, nope. I'm having my one finger on the ground. You can't do that to me. That was always stupid. It always kind of takes it away. And this is what I love about MMA, of course, is because it's kind of like a real fight. I don't know about you guys, but that's why I like watching it better than boxing. Well, boxing's pretty well its only real hard contender. And I love boxing and the other martial arts, but it really takes away from the specialty of mixed martial arts when you have dumb rules like that. The Aljamain Sterling thing. Let's assume for a second that this rule was always the case. How many fights do you think Aljamain Sterling would have won? And I'm not saying this to like put a hate on Aljamain Sterling. I know there are more fighters that do this. It's just the first guy that's coming to mind, of course. How many times have you seen him just crawling at people? John Jones, when he begins a fight, he's crawling on all fours. The people who want to imitate John Jones, they're crawling on all fours. You could do what Vitor Belfort did and just go for the front kick like you don't care. I think that is incredible. This is an amazing rule. I can't wait to see. And you know what? For particular fighters, I'm very interested to see if they will end up being they'll have to adjust. But I would imagine it would probably take a while for your instincts to kick in, because the fighters have been conditioned for so long to just not knee somebody or kick somebody when they're down. And then you always had like the dirtier fighters who just didn't care either way. Like I know Muhammad Naimov, for example, off the top of my head, would have no problem kneeing somebody no matter if they had both hands, both feet on the ground in the past. But I like this. It's okay for them to keep the rule where it's like you can't knee or kick a grounded opponent if they're actually on the ground. But if you're just sprawling, if you're just walking, if you're crawling to your opponent, man, it's such a dumb position where I can get up like on the other side of the octagon over there. I can literally crawl and you can't do anything about it. What about the chain grapplers? The guys who just keep going takedown after takedown after takedown, because this is going to create some brand new scenarios. Let's say like you, the viewer, and I are fighting right now, and I go for a takedown on you. Typically, what you would be forced to do is, if you defend that situation, you would have to kind of either push off or grapple again. But now, it's going to create so many more scenarios where, let's say you sprawl or you defend it some sort of way. Now you can start throwing your knees. A 12-6 elbow, I don't really know how well the 12-6 elbow is going to work, because again, I've never practiced it myself. But that's going to create so many unique scenarios. And I would imagine that the answer to this is yes, but it also raises the question, are all of these Dagestani fighters and the fighters who fight like Dagestani wrestlers, are they going to have as much success now? Because of the chain wrestling, like you can do something about it. You can really punish somebody for just diving in for a takedown from the middle of the octagon just over and over and over again. And again, I'm not saying this as any sort of hate whatsoever to anybody. I love grappling. I think it's beautiful. I'm actually one of the defenders of the Dagestani style. You know, people get like, I love the chain wrestling. I was always fascinated with the way nobody was ever able to stop Habib. I love it. And I find it again, fascinating is the perfect word for it. The way that people have such a hard time defending against these grapplers. So I need you to understand, it's coming from a place where I just care about the sport. I think this is a great change for the sport. And I think this is making it more so like a real fight, which again, I absolutely love. The 12-6 elbow needed to change for a long time, and too many fighters are getting away with the grounded opponent rule that we've been seeing for too long. So I know it's a little while in October. I know that's a long time for rules like this to finally take into account, but I think this is awesome. I can't wait to see it. Again, it's one of the reasons why I love One Championship so much, and I cannot wait to see how this changes the dynamic of fights. Which fighters will be more successful? Which fighters will be less successful? The truest fighters will prevail, and I'm so excited. It's a beautiful sport, and I cannot wait to watch it with these new rules. Let me know what you think about all of this down below. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you are interested in continuing watching the channel, I do have a tier list video if you like watching that content. It's right here, guys. You can check it out. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.